This video is brought to you by my lovely patrons over on Patreon. I'd like to give a huge shout out to Anina, Clay, Mariah, Maddie, Edalis, Dre, Thomas, Tara, Zoe, Zuzia, Ainsley, Sabine, Jimma, Bailey, Azzy, Jacqueline, Monica, Jordan, Green, Lizzie, Willow, Danny, Blessing, Avery, Maddie, Alexia, B, Max, T, Taylor, M, Lovely, Antonina, Anna, Valen, Ali, Obsessed, Brianna, Nicole, Carnations, Kristen, Tequila, Autumn, Emily, Sarah, Vanessa, Nini, Nura, Matcha, Ava, Yasmin, Leah, Kayla, Ali, Ginny, Vika, Inez, June, Elizabeth, Penguin, Sammy, Roland, Rose, Lydia, Mila, Adrian, Lexi, Bana, Chi, Madison, Beck, Jemiah, Mads, Rachel, Daisy, Honeybee, Jade, Hooves, Rose, Alyss, Caden, Sponge, AJ, Kate, Jay, Praxton, Nicole, Terry, Hollow, Rebecca, Allison, Jacqueline, Jakaria, Mina, Lilith, Ange, Jasmine, Lizard, Haley, Kiki, Illyria, Lady Demista, Zebra, Lala, Ari, Amy, Busy, Molly, Xylosaurus Rex, Lunaris Galaxia, Maya, Novastar, Annie, Tori, Ariel, Bolchi, Bree, Zael, and Jenny. If you'd like to support this channel and get some pretty nifty perks such as exclusive weekly audios and novel readings, the link is in the description. Okay, I'm here. Hello. I just ran like 3 blocks to get here. And trust me, it's different running on the treadmill than it is actually running like blocks at a time. No. I'm fine. I don't need any water. I'm okay. Let me get this out, and then I gotta tell you something. I have something to say. Okay. All right. Okay. I'm good. I'm all right. Hi. You're right. You were right. That is exactly where I should be right now, but I am not there right now. So naturally something must have happened, right? Right. So let's talk about what happened, shall we? If you don't mind. Listen, I know that most of the time when I go off on my little rants, and I'm like, oh, la da 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 da, and you tease me and you make fun of me, and I am all for it. Most of the time, deserve to be teased. Kind of just a fool most of the time going on these rants about things that aren't important at all, but this time, you're gonna need to listen to me if you're okay with that right now. And then guess what? If you don't want to listen to me ever again, which is a distinct possibility, then that's okay. That's all right. You don't have to listen to me ever again. But for this, yeah, we're gonna need that. No, I'm good. So, bachelor party. Yeah, bachelor party. It was Trey's, remember? Yeah, exactly. He wanted to have it like way before the wedding so he could get any of those like conversations that are generally had at bachelor parties, which invoke jitters out of the way early. But we were like, 3 months before your wedding for a bachelor party? That's a lot. And he was like, no, it's fine. We're going to do it. And so it was a game night. And I was like, well, if you want to get your jitters out, game night isn't necessarily the way that you're going to do that. But sure, I'm always down for a game night. And so we're all talking. We're all having a good time. There are drinks flowing. Not me. Didn't want to drink it all that night because someone has to be in control if the situation takes a massive left turn at some point, right? Right. So we're hanging out, we're vibing, we're talking a lot. Relationships come up. People's relationships come up. People who are in relationships talk about those relationships. It's fun. We're having fun. We're having a good time. We're enjoying each other's presences. I don't know what the plural of that is. Uh-oh. Hold on a second. Yipes. So, we start getting to the single people and talking about the single people. I am one of the single people. You know this. I know this. Everyone knows this. Not a big relationship guy. Not a big intimacy guy. Not a big guy of guy things in general. But we start talking about me, and it's fun. And it's like, oh, you're such a silly guy. You'll never be pinned down. And I'm like, but maybe I do want to be pinned down. Maybe that's like what I want in my life right now. And they're like, oh, you're so silly. You're just saying that because you're drinking. And I'm like, no, but like I haven't actually took a sip of anything aside from some good old blessed water. And they're like, haha, very, very funny. But someone is not drinking. And that someone happens to be someone you're very close to, Tony. Yes, Tony is also there. And Tony is looking at me like I am the most idiotic man in the entire world. And to be fair, usually I am. That is a very fair assessment of who I am as a person when it comes to A, social cues, B, understanding people, and C, everything, basically, when it comes to communication. Fair, I get it, but there was an extra layer to it than what you usually look at me like. And so I'm like, hey man, are you okay? Did I say something wrong? Listen, I promise I haven't actually been drinking anything. He's like, so you really don't know, do you? I'm like, don't know what? He's like, you really don't know. And we go back and forth for like a minute and a half, and he's like, you really don't know? And I was like, don't know what? And he's like, you have no idea. And I'm like, obviously I have no idea, but like, I don't even know what you're talking about. I have no idea. He's like, man, that's crazy. I'm like, what's crazy? What do I have no idea about? And we go back and forth for a while until he just stays silent for a couple seconds, and I'm looking at him and I'm trying to examine his eyes. And I'm like, whoa, what is this? And he's like, you do know you have that if you want it, right? And I say, what? Or are you talking about? He's like, or at least you had it until you completely blew your shot. I said, okay, a shot that I blew? I do that on a daily basis. What does that mean? You're still being so vague. And it's almost disconcerting at this point because everyone is hanging out and talking, and we're here stuck in this very, very personal moment in the middle of this crowd of boys being boys, but not in the way that most people mean when they say boys will be boys, because that's problematic. But they're all just hanging out, having fun, getting into pillow fights or something like that. And I'm like, Tony, you gotta give me something here, bud. And he said, you had the chance to have exactly what you wanted, and you blew it completely. And that was the first full sentence I got out of him. And I was, okay, that sounds serious. Still don't know what you're talking about, though. You got to expand for me. And so he sits there for a second. It's almost like he's debating whether he's gonna give in to revealing this ominous secret that could potentially change the lives of many, or he might spontaneously combust if he reveals it. And so he looks at me in the eyes and he says your name. And I said, what? Okay, all right, cool. We're gonna we're playing the name game. I'll say a name, Tony. That's your name. See, we're both so good at doing this. It's so much fun. But like, seriously, can we go back to the part where you said I had a chance to have everything that I wanted or I was speaking about and I blew it? Can we go back to that? Because the name that you just said does not have, must not have, cannot have any correlation to that. And I'm sitting there with a smile, ready to hear who my potential future love of my life that I've been missing out on, I blew the chance of, and I can feel sad about for the rest of my life was, and it says your name again. He says your name again. Now, saying that one time is like, oh, okay, you could be teasing me. I get it. We're so close. People have said, oh, are you guys together all the time? And we're like, oh, no, we're not. But thank you. Ha, 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 ha. And but twice is a lot. Twice insinuates something. Twice is something else, in my opinion, right? So I inquire further, and I said, what about her? What do you mean, bud? And he said, for the past year and a half that you two have been living together, she has been absolutely, no doubt in Tony's mind. He said this with the utmost confidence, head over heels in love with you. Now, that's a big statement, Tony. That is a big statement. Wow. Okay. What? Right? What? And then so, oh man, that facial expression. Okay, now I'm even more worried because that leads me, there's still been like this little chitter chatter in the back of my head saying, oh, Tony's just Tim messing with you. You never had that type of kinship with Tony, but he's just messing with you. It'll be fun. And she'll come home and just like, oh, that's such a silly joke. What a funny joke. Tony's such a trickster. And I'll say, oh my goodness, that's so funny. But okay, so let's continue, I guess. And so Tony says that, and I said, how do you know that? That is such a big claim. She in head over heels with me. Get real. And he said, oh, no, you don't understand. She literally told me. And I said, well, hey, first of all, bud, you could have just came out and said that initially, right? You could have just said that. That was all you had to really say. That would have gotten the point across perfectly. But you didn't say, did you? Instead, you went and were just a little bit of a goofball, a little bit of a silly goose, one could say. No, and then I'm like, what? When did she tell you this? And then he said about like 4 or 5 months into us you two living together, we were at a house party. It was for Halloween at your place. And I was like, oh my God, he's right. We did have that. So this is not like a fake thing that he's making up. I remember this. And I also remember you and him spending a significant period of time together. In that moment, I actually almost thought, maybe Tony's into you. Did not know Tony was gay at that point, but now I know that. And so I know that he's not into you. But I remember you two having very deep, intimate conversations because I like to know where you are at all times. So in case something crazy happens in the apartment that I can tell you and be like, hey, we should get on top of that because both of us know that we really would like to have that the down payment deposit back at the end of the lease. That's okay. All right. So I'm at this point, I'm befuddled. I am quizzical. I am out of words. And Tony sees that. And so he tells me that at that Halloween party, you told him that you were having feelings for me that were greater than you had ever experienced before. That the feelings that you were feeling were almost otherworldly. The connection that you felt to me was pure, and you appreciated every single personality trait of mine. You said I have my kindness, which I guess, but my generosity, my love for my family, which I do love my family. And so he's saying, listen to all these things, and I'm sitting there like, okay, this could still be a joke. Listen, Tony is a smart guy. He could just be, he could have set this up for a while and wanted to get at me. And boy, he's gotten at me at this point, right? Haha. And then so we keep going, and he keeps going, and he keeps going. And you look, as a goofer and gaffster myself, generally when you look into the eyes of another goofer / gaffster, you are able to tell when they are making a goof or a gaff. And I looked into Tony's eyes. That man was not making a goof or a gaff. He was as serious as could possibly be. And so there I am, sitting in the middle of a bachelor party. That was just like a last minute thing. And I have just heard that someone is in love with me. And I said, oh my God, Tony, that's insane. That's crazy. What the heck? And Tony said, yeah, but it's been a year. It's probably, past. I said, what? He said, yeah, it's literally November right now. That was October of last year. It's probably done. And I was like, oh yeah, totally, probably done. Yeah, no, that makes sense. And then I thought about that statement. And then I thought about how would I feel if those feelings had, passed, changed course. You were suddenly into someone else. And my heart sank to the bottom of my stomach, and I realized I would feel horrible, terrible, worse than I've ever felt in my life. So I did what any sane and rational person would do. I literally jumped up, got my hoodie, and sprinted back to the apartment. I don't know how I have all of the lung capacity to continue telling you this story at such a heightened volume, and it's like continuously. But the point is I do. And the point is I'm here because I had no idea that you were head over heels with me, in love with me. And you still might, you know what? Tony could still be tricking me. Although every single detector that I sent out came back negative on the teasing, he still could be. I could just be a fool, right? But even if there is a 0.1% chance that either he's not teasing me or you still have those feelings inside of you, I had to come back here. Because if I had known this piece of information beforehand at that Halloween party, if Tony had perhaps came up to me and told me that piece of information the same night, I would have walked up to you in my Superman costume with you in the matching Batwoman costume, and I would have placed a kiss upon your lips as soon as possible, with no care in the world for anyone who would have seen it. I love you. I love you. I love you more than friends should love each other. I think about you every single day, not just because we live with each other. Whenever I'm home alone, I wish you were here. Whenever I'm at the office, I wish I was with you. Whenever we're on opposite sides of the room, and even though we're giving each other knowing looks and nodding and glancing, I wish that your time was being spent with me. Not in a possessive way. You could just spend your time and I would just be in the conversation listening to all of the wonderful things that you have to say, all of the amazing facts that you know, all of the great jokes that you have. Every single thing about you I love. I do. I didn't want to make it weird. Living together is weird enough for two people. You don't want to go out there and listen. Leases are hard to break if there's not a reciprocation of feelings. The reciprocity, I didn't know if it was there. So going out on a limb like that, I didn't want to ruin your experience with your first apartment. I didn't want to ruin my experience with my first apartment. I didn't want to ruin the friendship that we had. But I have loved you ever. Unfortunately, throwing myself out on a limb here, basically since I laid eyes on you. And do you know how crazy that is? Everything in my mantra, in my psyche, is against love at first sight. Then I meet you and oops, whoopsie daisy, looks like here it is. So if there is even a sliver of possibility that you feel the same way about me still, and this isn't all just a joke that Tony concocted to make the most awkward conversation happen naturally between the two of us, here we are. The cards are laid out on the table, and that is why I am sweating so hard. Listen, I know that it is a lot. It is a lot. And it is totally fine if you want to take your time and process this information. We don't have to finish this conversation today even. You can just go to bed and Okay. All right. Now, tell me to my face that I didn't pass out from exhaustion as soon as I walked through the door and everything that has happened in the past 20 minutes is real. Okay. Wow. Okay. So Tony, huh? Yeah, well, why then? Why then? I do not come off as a player just because I don't date doesn't mean that I'm a player. Thank you very much. But you know what? It doesn't matter. I am here with you right now, and we are together, and that is all that matters to me. Okay, to be fair, I did, make my own conclusion from the whole thing, right? You do love me still? Okay, cool. Well, I love you, obviously, as I have now said at least 4 times. Wow. So do you want to cuddle? Yeah, I know we cuddle all the time, but we haven't done couple cuddling yet. No, it does not involve that. Thank you very much. It involves me being very tired from running 3 blocks here, and I would like to cuddle with my girlfriend. I could go back to the bachelor party, but, no. I am sure they will understand. Now, if you don't mind, I have a pair of lips that are owed some smooches right about now. But pay no attention, though.